homerjnick here with a summary of Week 2 of Season 11 on Diablo 3 on the PlayStation 4. Now, one of the features on Diablo 3 in the PlayStation 4 that is sadly lacking is the ability to look at the leaderboards on the internet. We have to be in the game to have a look at our own leaderboards. So I thought I would do a weekly summary to show just how the PS4 community is doing in Season 11. And so I've captured all the leaderboard data for softcore and hardcore, solo play and group play, and I've put it on some spreadsheets. So let's take a look at how the leaderboards are standing at the end of Week 2. Okay, so here is the softcore solo play. All 7 classes represented. These leaderboard entries here are up to date as of today. You will notice some asterisks against some players' names. The number of asterisks indicate the number of primals that they have in their builds. I'll try and refrain from making any comments on that. So let's have a look at the softcore solo then. Let's have a look at the wizards to start with. You won't be surprised to see that every one of them in the top 5 spot there is a Mantled Healed Lightning Wizards. And then softcore in week 2, they've done a GR 97. So that's pretty impressive so far for week 2. The Witch Doctors, our top spot belongs to the player there who's done a GR 90. The Legacy of Nightmare Spirit Barrage is quite tricky to play on console, but it's 1 GR level above a Firebats at the moment, and a GR 90 for the Witch Doctors after week 2. No guesses to see which class is performing the best in Season 11, and that is of course the Necromancers. All top 5, well over 100 there. So the top build is a GR 104 with the Rathma Mages, followed by the Tragul ones. The Traguls should overtake it, I presume, by the end of season, but at the moment, after week 2, the Rathma Mages set is indeed the top with a GR 104. And you will notice that the top player does not have any primals. To do a 104 with no primals is pretty impressive. Now on to the monks. The top monk there is the LON LTK monk, who's done a GR 89, followed by the Raiment Generator monk. The Raiment Generator monk should outperform the LTK monk, but doesn't on console due to the targeting mechanism of Dashing Strike. We can't control how long the dashes are for, making it harder to proc the massive damage buff of the Raiment 6-piece set. So an 89 has been done after 2 weeks. On to the Demon Hunters, and there's no surprise once again, there's only one build and Demon Hunters really performs well, and that's of course the Shadow and Pale. All 5 top spots there have that, and a GR 95 has been done by the Demon Hunters in softcore already in 2 weeks gone. A similar story with the Crusader, all Hammerdens, and it's done a 99, it's a very strong build. Again, a very impressive build for solo play. So no surprises that all of them in the top 5 are Hammerdens. And you would say lastly but not least, sadly, the poor Barbs. But look, Elite Quake Barb has done a GR 90 in solo after only 2 weeks. That outperforms the Monk on 89, making monks in softcore the poorest class at the moment on the PlayStation 4 for Diablo 3. So the monks have done a 90. Again, all builds in the top 5 are the Elite Quake Barb build. So again, showing not much diversity within each class to get a top leaderboard entry. So that's the softcore solo entries. Let's have a look now at the softcore groups. So here are the softcore group entries for 2-man, 3-man and 4-man for week 2 on season 11. So the 2-man group has cleared the top entry is 101 GR with a support monk and a Rathma mage. So that's a very good combination, and it's done 101. The 3-man entry in softcore has done 104, support monk, Hammerden Trash Killer, and a Tragul Necro that is a Rift Guardian Killer. So again, 104 done in softcore. That is pretty good after 2 weeks. And finally, the 4-man softcore group entries have declared 111. That's very good, and a very good setup. Probably going to be the top 4 meta of Tragul Necro, support Monk, support Barb, and the Firebat's Witch Doctor killing all the trash. So a GR 111 in 4-man group. So that is the current stance of the group play in softcore after week 2 of season 11. So let's have a look now then at the hardcore entries. So let's start off with the hardcore solo entries for all 7 classes after only 2 weeks of season 11. No surprise to see that in the wizards there, but they're all manual healed lightning, apart from there is a Hydra setup who's cleared an 86. But a GR90 is the top spot with the manual healed lightning wizard, so again a very good build for that. Onto the Witch Doctors, and they've cleared a GR80. No Firebat Witch Doctors in the top 5 in hardcore. All Helltooth Gargantuan build Witch Doctors there. And an 80 has been cleared. That is the lowest in hardcore solo. And in fact, last week's entry was an 80 as well, so there's not been much progress on the Witch Doctors. Perhaps not many players are playing the Witch Doctor in hardcore. But a GR80 has been done after 2 weeks. The Necromancer, the most popular build at the moment, has cleared a 96 in the top spot in hardcore. The Necro can be quite difficult to play in hardcore because it's very squishy, but a GR96 has been done already after 2 weeks, and again with no primals. Well, that is very impressive indeed for top spot. The monks look good in hardcore. The LTK has done an 88 and the Juliana EP has done an 87, and so that is very good there. Inner Generator is always a good build as well on the 3, 4 and 5 position for hardcore, especially because it's very tanky. It is a very good build to get onto the leaderboards with. The Demon Hunters all Shadow and Pale once again, and the top spot has a 91, followed very closely by a 90 in hardcore. So again, it's a nice build and very good for group play as well. Not all Hammerdens in the Crusaders in hardcore, so that's why we've got a Blessed Shield build in there. But Hammerdens have done an 85 this season after 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure that's going to go up. Last season there was 100 done in hardcore by a Hammerden, so watch that leaderboard shoot up in the next few weeks. But an 85 done by the Crusader. And again, lastly but not least, the Barbarians, the Elite Quake build done an 86, easily beating the Witch Doctor's 80. And so there are some Barbs on hardcore competing for that. So an 86 has been done by the Barbs. So that's just a quick look at the hardcore solo leaderboard entries after week 2 of season 11. Let's have a look at the hardcore group entries. So here is the hardcore group entries for week 2 of season 11 on PlayStation 4. Quite interesting to see that the Necros dominate the 2-man leaderboards there. We have in top spot a GR91 with a support monk and the Wrath of Mages build, but then the rest of them are all Necros, and the other 2 groups, including a Legacy of Nightmares Necro. So that's very interesting as well. So a GR91 done in 2-man group. Onto the 3-man, it's cleared 90s. There's 2 leaderboard entries there in the 90s, and the third one's an 88. Interesting setup again. The LON Necro appears with a Rathma Necro and the Roll and Sweep Crusader in top spot there. No support really, so that's quite interesting. And then underneath that we have a support monk, Demon Hunter, and the Rathma Mages Necro. So yeah, they've done a 90 in 3-man. And 4-man, we've done a 93 as the top spot. Interesting, it's got support Barb Monk, Wrath of Mages as its Rift Guardian Killer, and then the Witch Doctor to do the trash. So it's going to be something similar, I suspect, for the end of the season top meta builds for a 4-man group. But at the end they've cleared a 93 in 4-man in hardcore. So that's the softcore and hardcore solo and group builds at the end of week 2 for season 11. What I think it'd be good to do is just compare how the progress has been made since week 1. So I'm going to bring up some screenshots of the leaderboard entries from last week compared to this week, and then we can have a little look at that progress too. So here's a comparison from week 1 to week 2, week 1 on the left, week 2 on the right, and this is for softcore solo leaderboard entries. So let's have a look at them and see the progress that's been made by the players on the PlayStation 4. So as you can see, the Wizard in week 1 did a 93, and in week 2 they did a 97. Witch Doctor went up from an 85 in week 1 to a 90 in week 2. The Necromancer did 100 after the first week, and has now done 104 after week 2. Well, the Monks went up to 89 in week 2 when they cleared an 84 in week 1. The Shadow and Pale Demon Hunters, they did a 93 in week 1 and now have done a 95 in week 2. The Crusaders went from 96 to 99, and lastly the Barbarians went from an 84 to a 90. So there's the progression from the softcore solo leaderboard entries. Let's have a quick look at the group ones. So here is the group's softcore comparison from week 1 to week 2. The 2-man did a GR 100 in week 1, and they've gone up a level to a GR 101. In the 3-man, they did a GR 100 as well in the first week, and they're now up to a GR 104 in week 2. And finally, in 4-man, the softcore did a GR 109 in the first week, and are now up to 111. So that's a comparison between the two weeks for the group play and softcore. Let's check the hardcore entries. So here's the comparison between week 1 and week 2 for the solo hardcore leaderboard entries. So we can see that in the first week the Wizards did a GR 88, and they're now up to a GR 90. The Witch Doctors never made any progress from week 1 to week 2, as they did a GR 80 in both weeks. The Necromancer went up 6 GRs, from a 90 in week 1 to a 96 in week 2. The Monks went up 3 levels, from a GR 85 in week 1 to GR 88 in week 2. And the Demon Hunters went up from 87 to 91. The Crusaders, well, they did a GR 81 in week 1, and now they're on 85 in week 2. And the Barbarians went up quite a lot there, as you can see from week 1, where they did a GR 79, and they're now on an 86. So that's the hardcore solo comparisons of week 1 and 2. Let's check the hardcore group entries. And so finally, the hardcore group entries comparisons of week 1 and week 2. The 2-man groups, they did an 87 in week 1 and are now going up to a 91 in week 2. The 3-man group entries did an 87 in week 1 and are now on a GR 90 in week 2. And impressively, an 84 was done in 4-man group in week 1, and now 93 has been done for the 4-man group in hardcore at week 2. And so that's a summary of the leaderboard entries at the end of week 2 for season 11 on PlayStation 4. I've got one more screen to show you. And so here is this final screen, and what on earth am I doing putting up PS4 GR clears and PC leaderboard clears? They're different games, man. Nick, what are you playing at, some people will ask. I'm just putting it up there for information. Well, everybody fully understands that the PC version is different to console. There's different mechanics. PC version has more density. Console has the Nephilim Glory mechanic. And such like, but it's just for information purposes. It's very interesting to reveal that in some instances it is actually quite close to see the GR entries. You could pick a couple. What can we see? look at the entries on hardcore. Barbarian on PC it's cleared in 88 after week 2. It's cleared in 86 on PS4. That's pretty close. On the Monk, it's done a GR90 in hardcore, and it's done an 88 on the PlayStation 4. In softcore, a Crusader has done 102, and on PlayStation 4 it's done a 99. Again, you can't compare the products, and it's no way intending to say that a clear on PC should be the equivalent on the PlayStation 4. It's just for information purposes to see how players are doing. Of course, the player base on PC is far larger as well. So guys, that's just the end now of the summary of week 2 on the PlayStation 4. It's a pity we can't see this on our website where we could click on the rankings and see the progress done for ourselves. But that's just the stance that I've managed to capture at the end of week 2. I'm going to put links in this video to the spreadsheets on the internet so you can have a look at them at yourselves if you want. But that's how the PlayStation 4 looks at the end of week 2. We look forward to seeing the progress of players at week 3. I'm homerjnick, and I'm out of here.